Mr. Anderson found Sam Shaw's childhood home. Lucky us. He rang the doorbell, and Shaw's mom answered the door, dressed like something out of the 1950s, like a Stepford wife. We learned that Sam Shaw's mother's name is Christy, and she invited Mr. Anderson to come inside. So I guess we're supposed to think that Sam Shaw has a mommy complex, and that's why he was so infatuated with Christy Hemme, because she shared a name with Sam's mom. Either that, or we're supposed to think that Sam Shaw has some sort of sick sexual attraction towards his mother, which is some Sigmund Freud shit right there, and is most definitely something I would expect to be booked by Vince Russo. But anyway, back to this nonsense later. It gets better, or worse, depending on your perspective. James Storm had a chat backstage with Bobby Roode. They both talked about the awful things they've done to each other over the years, which is weird, given that I remember watching an episode of Impact right before lockdown, where Bobby Roode was teasing his retirement. That was before Dixie promised him 10% of the company if, he agreed to wrestle, on Team Dixie, blah, blah, blah. And I remember, there being an episode of Impact where these two guys kind of made amends backstage. They sat down, they had a very respectful, very nice conversation with each other. And, all of a sudden, it's almost like that never happened. It's just, this is such a weird show. Anyway, they're partners tonight because together, this is what James Storm said, they were the greatest tag team of all time. That's what he said. Don't blame me. Tonight they take on Gunner and Bully Ray. MVP beat Austin Aries in a pretty good match, stiff match. Aries nailed the running drop kick in the corner for a 2 count. Then he tried the 450 splash, but MVP moved out of the way, so Aries missed. MVP nailed the Shining Wizard, got the pin. I'm just glad to see Austin Aries back wrestling on the show, but I'm afraid to say that now because, just watch them now. He'll go disappear again for 6 weeks. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if there's something up with Aries and TNA, but he's one of those guys that needs to be on the show way more often than he is. We got another great workout video with Seiya Sanada, talking about how important the X Division title is to him and how it's his duty to live up to the expectations the great Muta has set for him. It's such a weird thing because, on the one hand, they gave this guy the title, and they do these videos, and they're awesome. They actually make the guy feel special, but then he wrestles and they give him like 4 minutes, which is never enough time to get over. Maybe at the pay-per-view, he and Tigre Uno, they're going to have their final match, I think, in their best of 3. Maybe they'll go out there on the pay-per-view, give him 15 minutes, 12 minutes, something like that, and they'll tear the house down. But just the booking of this guy has been so weird to me. I want to compliment them. I want to say, wow, they've done a great job with this guy, but he's going to sell himself out there in the ring, and when you get 3 or 4 minutes, you can't really do that. So I don't really think it's working. We got more wackiness from Casa de Sha. Anderson was in his mom's kitchen. She said, I bake my son an apple pie every day. And Anderson said, wow, you deliver that to him every day? And Sam's mom said, of course, he lives right downstairs in the basement. Now, I want to stop here, okay? Let's pause here for a moment. Remember those early vignettes with Sam Shaw and Christy Hemme where he took her out to dinner and she stepped away to go to the ladies' room and he got all angry at the waiter, grabbed the guy's hand because he thought the waiter was making a pass at her. And that's when we started to see those character traits come through and we realized the guy's not all there, he's too possessive and that kind of stuff. Well, I'm pretty sure the very next segment we saw on the next episode of Impact was Sam Shaw taking Christy back to his apartment and showing her around. But remember, he kept her away from that room with the giant shrine. He built this whole shrine, all with photos of Christy Hemme, and there may have been a mannequin in there, I don't remember. And he kept her away from that room because he didn't want her to see it, even though she found out about it later on. Okay? If he lives in his mother's basement, then whose place was that? I mean, what? Does he rent an apartment somewhere else to murder the women that he brings there and keep the bodies, and then he goes back home to his mom's basement so he can get his daily fix of apple pie? Working for TNA, it's not a stretch to think that the guy can't afford his own place and he has to live in his mom's basement. I can actually believe that. So it looks like they forgot their own angle. It's just one of those stupid little inconsistencies that annoys me. Anyway, Anderson went downstairs. He wanted to see Sam's bedroom, which was made up to look like the bedroom of any 5-year-old in America. There was a bunk bed. There was a colorful sign on the wall that said Samuel's room. In walks Sam Shaw, who wanted to know what the hell Ken Anderson was doing in his bedroom, which is a valid question. That would probably be my first response, too. Things broke out into a brawl. The cameraman, apparently frightened for his life, grabbed the camera, made a run for it upstairs. They shot this like a horror movie, with the shaky cam and everything. He's just running up the stairs, running for his life, trying to get out of there. And he goes upstairs. And actually, in fairness, half the time that's what TNA is, a horror movie, so kind of makes sense. Cameraman stumbles into Shaw's mom, who offers him some pie. Apple pie, that is. I should probably clarify that. And Sam Shaw then comes upstairs. He's all bloody. His nose is bloody, and he hugs his mother, and the cameraman runs away. And the two men are going to have a loser gets committed to an insane asylum match at Sacrifice tonight. I think whoever came up with this storyline should be committed right along with them. And throw Willow in there too while you're at it. Commit half the fucking company, since mental illness apparently is running rampant in Impact Wrestling.